Hare Hare Krishna again, Prabhus and Matajis. Today we have the pleasure of welcoming back His Grace Hemarupa Chaitanya Prabhu from ISKCON GEV to our Wednesday Bhagavad Gita discourse. As a regular speaker and cherished guest speaker of BJKL, His Grace needs no introduction. Without further delay, let's welcome His Grace Hemarupa Prabhu to share Prabhu's wisdom with us. Hare Krishna, Your Grace.
Hare Krishna. So just sharing the file. I'm audible, right?
Yes, Your Grace.
Hare Krishna. So I hope you can see the screen. So welcome everyone. Thank you all so much for joining. So today's discussion on Bhagavad Gita, we thought of choosing this verse from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 9.23, especially where the Lord uses this word aviddhi purvakam, doing things in a wrong way. So then we thought that, okay, let us discuss about what some Acharya's commentary about this and some past times you can see. So we titled this lecture as Going Down the Wrong Way. So all of us sometimes, one point or other in our lives, we had head down a wrong path. Some people, keep going down the wrong path until someone actually tells them, and then they realize. Else, knowing the right path is very difficult. And Krishna also understands this. So let us dive into the shloka, which is this theme of this presentation here today. So this is the shloka that comes in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 23rd verse. Ye piyanya devata bhaktya yajante shraddhayanvitaah tepi mameva kaunteya yajantya viddhi purvakam. So here Krishna is talking about those who worship the demigods, the devatas. He says that actually by worshipping them, you're actually worshipping me, but in a wrong way. Aviddhi purvakam. Vidhi means what you should do, how you should do things. Aviddhi means not a very pleasing way. All right, so let's see why. In this purport, Prabhupada gives two analogies, which are very interesting. He mentions how, worshipping of the devatas instead of the Supreme Lord, it's a funny way. It's just like, trying to water the leaves of a tree. But worshipping Krishna is like worshipping or watering the root of a tree. So this is one analogy that Prabhupada gives in the purport of this verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Then Prabhupada also gives his own analogy. This verse is given. He says that eating, all the senses are nourished when food is kept in the stomach. If you try to individually nourish the senses, what will happen? You cannot get nourishment. Imagine if you say that, oh, my eyesight is so weak. I think I need extra gulab jamun for my eyesight. And you pick up some gulab jamuns and you try to feed your eyes. What will happen? Right? Your eyes will not get nourishment, but actually your eyes will get damaged. But if we know we want to improve, let's say eyesight or something, whatever, some part of the body, then we eat that particular kind of food, which puts it in the stomach and that nourishes the other parts. So like that, if we want to please all the living beings in this world, including all the devatas, then we just have to serve the root of creation. And the root is Vishnu. That root is Krishna. So even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Advaita Acharya, he mentions that if you worship all the devatas, which are headed by Lord Shiva, of course, Maheshwara, but if you disregard Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna, then that is just like watering the leaves of a tree after having cut it at its root. Tomare lokhiya ye shivadi bhaje vriksha mula kate ye na pallavera puje. So you're doing pallavera puja. You're worshipping the leaves after having cut the root of the tree. So those who do all kinds of vidhi vidhan, different kinds of puja for the different devatas, including Lord Shiva, but disregards Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna, this is an example given. So many times we have heard and we have, in all our lives, we have asked questions about this. Why only Krishna and what about Devata worship? So Prabhupada gives the most simple, beautiful example to understand all this. He says that just like there's a country which is ruled by ministers, right? But there's a prime minister. So simply Krishna is the prime minister and all the different devatas are empowered people controlling different ministries, right? There's ministries of works ministries of human resource and internal affairs and external affairs and whatnot. So many kinds of different ministries are there. So this is the best understanding that we can have the worship of, or the difference between a devata and the difference between Bhagavan. Now, well, you're all students of VGAKL, so I assume we have heard about this. But we thought that we will discuss a bit about this aviddhi purvakam, why Krishna says something like this, which may seem a little unpleasing. So there are two things, the devatas, the demigods themselves, the devatas themselves, and the worship of the devatas. So the devatas are not wrong. They are devotees of the Lord. They are empowered personalities. They are also, in one sense, mixed devotees aspiring for their own, maybe some material desires, but they have been elevated to such powerful positions. So we are not against the devata, but their worship is not recommended. Why? If you look at the verse before this, today's verse, 9.23 is today's verse, 9.22, there, what is Shuddha Bhakti is mentioning. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yoga shemam vahamyam. Krishna promises that for one who is nitya abhiyuktanam, one who is constantly engaged in serving the Lord, paryupasate, worshipping only Krishna, ananyas chintayanto, constantly always thinking of Krishna. That is a Krishna conscious devotee. Such people, Krishna will carry what they, what is this? Krishna will protect what they have and carry what they lack. Yoga Shemam. That is what we don't have, Krishna will provide, and what we already have, Krishna will maintain. That is Krishna's promise. So, devatas are not wrong, but the worship of the devatas are not recommended, especially for those who want Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. If someone is fruitive, someone is selfish, someone wants to just satisfy their own whims, then that is the purpose of devata worship. But hearing all this now, someone may say, but Prabhu, there are many places in the Bhagavad Gita where the worship of the devatas are recommended. What about that? Why Bhagavad Gita then is recommending the worship of the devatas? So let us see these few sections, how, that demigod worship or devata puja is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So this is basically the third chapter, which speaks about karma yoga, how we should live in this world. So this is text 10, 11, and 12. It's a whole series of how Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that to live comfortably in this world, humans and devatas need to cooperate with each other. Humans and devatas, they need to cooperate with each other. We need to do the required pujas and yagyas. Then we will actually get all the benefits from the devatas. So the 10th, 11th, 12th verse, beautifully it comes. Esha vo astu ishta kamadu, because they have some desire, right? Parasparam bhavayantaha, it's mentioned. Shreya param bhavapsya. So let's look at some translation here. So here, this is an understanding given by Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushan. He says that Krishna is saying to Arjuna, Vishnu is saying to Arjuna, he's saying to all the created beings after creating the world, please, the devatas, means worship the devatas, headed by Indra. They are the limbs of my body. By offering oblations to them, the devatas will pleased by you, they'll offer you benedictions. And thus, parasparam, mutually, please, with pure food, you will get the highest form of liberation. So you please them, they will please you. This paraspara anubhavatya, this is important. So here it seems that Vishnu is authorizing the worship because he's saying that they are my limbs. Okay, no problem. Then let's see this next point, 3.12. Here it's mentioned, Srila Prabhupada's translation. Oh, sorry, this is a Vishnu Thakur's translation. The devatas pleased with the sacrifice will bestow on you desired enjoyment. So one wants to enjoy, one wants something. Who should he go to? Looks like the demigods. He who enjoys what is given by the devatas without offering to them is indeed a thief. Right? So this verse, very famous verse, Ishtan Bogan Hivo Deva Dasyante Yagya Bhavita Tair Dhattam Aparadaya Ibro Yo Bhumte Stena Evasaha. Stena means thief. So basically, we are getting water, we are getting rain, we are getting sun, we are getting grains. All this is given by the devatas, blessed by the devatas. And if we do not offer some oblations or we do not offer some prayers to them, then are we not thieves? See what Bhagavad Gita is saying, right? So this is all verses that may point towards Devata Puja. Let's look at one more verse. Okay. 4th chapter, 12th verse. Sorry. So here the translation, this verse is also interesting verse. Kankshata karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata shipram hi manusha loke siddhir karmaja. Manusha loke. People in this world, if you want quick fixed solution, siddhir bhavati karmaja, then one has to worship the yajanta iha devataha. One can worship the various devatas like this. So having heard all this, someone may wonder that, my God, Bhagavad Gita himself is saying. But no, actually the reason is, these are for those who have some material desires. So these are not, Devata Puja is not meant for those who are sincere, who is ananyas chintayanto mam, as mentioned in 9.22. Okay. So let's see some reasons where Devata Puja is not encouraged in Bhagavad Gita. So this is 2.46. Yavan artha udapane, kavan samplutodake, just like a small, a huge well can fulfill the desires of a small well. So here, similarly, if one who knows the Vedas, they know the essence of life. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, our Acharya, he says, oh, this is demigod worship. He says, small wells are like the Devatas, and the big reservoir of water is like Krishna, Vishnu. If you already have Vishnu Puja, why you need Devata Puja? He's mentioning like that. Whatever purposes of worship of all the Devatas mentioned in the Vedas are achieved through the worship of the one Supreme Lord. Everything is satisfied. So he uses this verse to prove it. Okay, fine. Let's see some other verses. This is a whole chain of verses, kind of like not against, but not encouraging Devata Puja. 7.20, 21, 22, 23. So 7.20, Krishna says that Devata Puja is meant for those whose minds are only attached to material desires. So therefore, we wrote the title, Devata Puja is not for those who are sincere, those who actually want Shuddha Bhakti, for someone who is materialistic, who's worried about their material condition, who has so much material desires. They say like material desires are like grass, right? You see grass growing. A little rains come, the grass grows like anything. So a little pralobhan, a little titillation, a little incentive, or a little agitation that comes into the mind, all the desires start shooting up like grass. And what you're going to do, you can't pull out grass one by one. You just have to cut it off one shot, pull it off by the roots. So Devata Puja here is mentioned for us, for those who are minds of material desires. Then the next verse says that Krishna himself says that actually it is me who makes their faith strong. So if someone is so faithful to a particular Devata, it's not him who's giving that faith. It is not the Devata who's creating that faith. It is Krishna who's creating that faith in that person. So Krishna is behind the faith that we have for others. Then Krishna says, not only faith, but ultimately even the benedictions that that personality is giving is actually coming from me. Krishna gives the faith, Krishna gives the benedictions. Amazing. So therefore Krishna says that only people who have small intelligence. Now why they call them small intelligence? Isn't that an insult? Small intelligence here is because they are short-sighted. Right? Sometimes we know what is Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas means long-term benefit, Preyas means short-term benefit. Like you go to a child and you hand out your two hands with a chocolate and also $100 or whatever. And the small child will pick up the chocolate because he is only seeing prayers, immediate benefit. So similarly here, Shastras, Bhagavad Gita is saying that people who worship or go after trying to, butter up or whatever, these different devatas are simply small intelligence because they're short-sighted. Right? They're looking for temporary benefits. Second, the fruits that they get, the phala that they get is limited and temporary. Why? Because the devata, the personality themselves are limited. So therefore, how can their benediction outlive the person? Like they cannot. You can only give what you have. If I have $1 million, I can give you $1 million. I even cannot give you $1,001. Right? I don't have even that much. Can't give you only how much I have. So similarly, the devatas can only give how much they have. And because they are limited, so therefore whatever they can give is also limited temporarily. Third point in the same verse. Krishna says that the worshipper of the devatas go to the planet of the devatas. So this is not param gati. This is not the supreme destination, because when the devatas, when they finish, then their planet gets finished and you get finished. So therefore, these 3 points in one verse. Okay. So let's move ahead. Another 2 more points. So here in this verse, Krishna says, Aham adir hi devanam maharishinam cha. He says that all the devatas and maharishis, they do not know me, but ultimately, I am the background of all this. Right? And then last verse, which comes in the 11th chapter. So the 11th chapter, 21st verse of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is seeing all the devatas entering into the Vishwarupa. That means who is the superset? Who is the supreme universal set? The Vishwarupa, Krishna. He showed the form. Krishna showed the universal set, and everything is entering into the universal set. So the host of devatas are entering, and what they're doing, some of them are very fearful. They're folding their hands. Some of them are shouting, Swasti, Swasti, Swasti. That means auspiciousness, auspiciousness, Bhadram, Bhadram. Oh. They are afraid, and others are just praising the Lord with excellent verses. So we can see the submission of the exalted devatas here to Supreme Lord. But this brings us to a question. Just now, in the earlier slide, we saw that how Vishwanath Chakravarti, or even they say that the devatas are nothing but the limbs of the Lord. So if I am worshipping the body of the Lord, the limbs of the Lord, that is same as worshipping the Lord, then why is there differentiation? Why are you doing a differentiation? If I'm worshipping one limb of the Lord, who's absolute, that means it's as good as worshipping the Lord. Then why you're saying that by worshipping one limb, I'll get temporary results? So both Vishnu Chakra Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushan, they say, aviddhi purvakam. This point is very important. What is aviddhi purvakam? 2 things. One, although they are worshipping the part of the body of the Lord, but they will not get the same result because, first point, they are not following the proper rules and methods to attain that Lord. They are not doing it to please the Lord. Right? They're not following the proper rules. So therefore, it is aviddhi purvakam, wrong way of doing it. That's the first reason. Right? Second reason Acharyas give is because they lack true knowledge about the Lord. This is seen actually in the next verse, 9.24. Right? We are reading 9.23, aviddhi purvakam. 9.22 speaks about the Shuddha Bhakta Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. 9.24 speaks about how they do not have knowledge. Therefore, they will never attain the same destination. So these 2 things are very important. In those, we can say, they are worshipping the devatas. You are saying devatas are also part and parcel of the Lord. So then part and parcel means Lord is absolute. One part is the whole parcel. But Krishna says, no. Although they are worshipping a part of me, they will not attain me. Why? 2 things. Firstly, they are doing it in a wrong way. They are not doing it to please me. I am not happy with it. Second, they do not have knowledge of me. So here's a big lesson that we can learn. In all our puja, in all our sadhana, trying to please Lord, we should also remember these 2 things. That I should do it only for Krishna's pleasure, and I should have knowledge about him. I should understand his personality. Recently, some devotee came to our Govardhan Eco village, and we were doing Harinam Sankirtan before entering the temple to do for a darshan. And if you have visited our Govardhan Eco village, it's an open area with so many gardens. So one of the devotee, I saw him from far, he plucked one flower. It is called arka in Sanskrit. It is a flower that has some poison, actually. This flower is used to offer, it's a purplish flower, like, it is used to offer to Lord Hanuman, Lord Shiva, but never used for Vishnu Puja. So this devotee saw it, he plucked it, and he was going up the stairs. And then I stopped him. I said, Prabhu, are you going to offer that? That is not for Krishna. So first thing he said, why? So I explained to him that according to Shastra, this arka flower is not offered. And then he said that, but everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is Krishna's energy. So why can't we offer it? This is what is called aviddhi purvakam. Okay, it's true. Everything is Krishna's energy, is Krishna's tattva. But he has also outlined things which he likes, things which he don't like. Like we don't offer red flowers, hibiscus. We don't offer to Krishna. Krishna, according to Shastras, likes white flowers. right? So we offer white flowers. So this is all mentioned in Shastra. So we do what Krishna likes, isn't it? So these two things, right? We should do it with the intent of pleasing Krishna. Second, we should do it with knowledge for Krishna. So another question comes. But what about in the Vedas? There are sections where they glorify the devatas. They say that this devata is supreme, that story is supreme, this is supreme. So what about the section of the Vedas? What about that? That they sometimes mention, there's even some nowadays people are quoting different Puranas that Devi is actually the one who manifests the three Murti, Vishnu, Mahesh, and Brahma. Right? He's saying that Devi is the one manifesting all of them. So what about all this? How should we accept this? So then our acharyas mentioned that first thing they say is, don't take the Vedas too seriously. Say what? Our whole life, our whole Krishna conscious preaching is that no, we are telling people to follow the Vedas, telling people to follow the Shastras. But factually, when you come to devotional service, we know that not to take the Vedas too seriously also. This is the fact. How we will see, one of our acharyas, Srila Jiva Goswami, he presents in his Krishna Sandarbha, in his Sat Sandarbha explanation, he mentions how there are sometimes faulty statements in the Vedas. And these faulty statements are meant for some purpose, but you should not take them seriously. Just see how powerful is the Vedas and dangerous also. No? You need to actually know what you're looking for. So therefore we should remember one line. Not everything Vedic is devotional. Not everything Vedic is devotional. Don't think that everything in Vedic culture was Shuddha Bhakti. No. Not everything in the Vedic culture was maybe favorable to devotional service. We need to follow things which are favorable to devotional service. Some things in Vedas we may not follow. Krishna says this to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. The Vedas contain mainly about this Traigunyam, goodness, passion, ignorance. All the Vishaya, all the topics that mentioned in the Vedas are basically talking about goodness, passion, ignorance. Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. Krishna says to Arjuna, get out of the three modes, get beyond the three modes. So for our level, it's like we need the Shastra because now we are zero, right? All of us, before coming to the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, we are zero. So we needed Vedas just to get a leverage. But after getting the Vedas, having understanding, now we need to go into the Bhakti Shastras, which are even more pure, Shuddha Sattva in nature. And we may even overlook some sections of the Vedas because that's not our syllabus anymore. Right? We have gone into master's program now. If you go to a library also, if you've studied any course, you see there's a postgraduate section, there's an undergraduate section. If you go to undergraduate, there's so much things. But when you go to postgraduate, even if you take any syllabus, any stream, engineering, whatever, the scope is going to be more focused and some things they'll just not even talk about. You won't even realize, it's not at all even applicable anymore now. Right? So Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha, he mentions there are a lot of faulty statements in the Shastra. He gives 3 examples. Okay, so here are some faulty stories. Be ready to be amazed at these stories. First is a story about Lord Shiva. He says in Garuda Puran, there's a story where Lord Shiva comes and cuts off one of the heads of Brahma, kills Brahma. It was after some argument. He slaps one head. And because of Brahma Hatya, Brahmadev being the original Brahmana, because of Brahma Hatya, the Papa forced the severed head of Brahma to stick to the hand of Lord Shiva. My God, what descriptions. And just to be purified, Lord Shiva, what he had to do? Lord Shiva had to take a form of a bhikshu, a beggar. So he took this form, as you can see on the screen, Bhikshatana Murti, he took this form, Bhikshatana, and he started going around, walking around naked, holding a begging bowl and asking alms from everyone. So here Jiva Goswami says, what do you think? You think Lord Shiva will become a beggar? Is Lord Shiva affected by karma? He says such stories are just trying to glorify the principle of karma, but such things are never true, right? It's not that Lord Shiva is forced to become a beggar because of his sins of killing a Brahman. Lord Shiva is beyond all this. He gives one example in this. Second fake story in the Vedas, a story that Lord Krishna and Balaram appeared from the white and black hairs of Vishnu. When Vishnu took out a white hair, through it, Balram appeared. And Vishnu took out a black hair, through it, and Krishna appeared. So this is also a fake story. This story does not exist, not according to Shastras. Jiva Goswami says it doesn't make sense. Are you saying that the Lord is subjected to karma? Okay. Another third story, that Lord Vishnu was forced, okay, because of some offense, to take 10 births in the material world, and that is the Dashavadaram. So Lord Vishnu is never forced by karma that he has to, go through all this. This is actually his Leela. So like this, Jiva Goswami says that sometimes you cannot take the Vedas too seriously. So therefore the Vedas which glorify, certain Vedas which glorify this Devata or that Devi or this personality, the other Vedas, you cannot take it too seriously. Sometimes there are faulty sections of the Vedas also. So then another question comes. Okay, so here he quotes this. This is a beautiful verse that's quoted by Jiva Goswami. He quotes a verse from Skanda Puran where Lord Shiva is speaking to his son Kartikeya. Okay, he's saying, Shiva Shastre Pitat Grayam Bhagavad Shastre Yogi Yat Iti. Only accept the words in the Shaiva Agamas, the Shaiva Shastras. So what are the Shaiva Shastra? Basically the Shastras or the Puranas in the mode of ignorance, right? Linga Puran, and you have even Matsya Puran, Kurma Puran, you have Shiva Puranam, Padma Puranam, Skanda Puranam, whatever. All these Shiva Agama, Shiva Shastras, you should only accept the conclusions of the Shiva Shastras if they are in line with Bhagavad Shastra. Statements of the Shaivite Puranas should only be accepted if they are confirmed in the Vaishnava Puranas. So sometimes there'll be some exaggerations in the other Puranas, forget about it. But you only should accept it if it is in line with the Vaishnavas. So this is the way of Vedic study. You put all the whole Veda, Shrutis and Smritis and Agamas and Upanishads and Puranas, and you have to mix and match and balance everything. Therefore, the greater Shastra is called Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is Amala Puranam. Okay, it is Amala Pramanam. It's the best evidence which you don't have to check or double check. Whatever is mentioned is perfect, right? But even in Bhagavatam, there are some sections which you should not take seriously. Like when Krishna in his Govardhan Leela, he starts speaking Karma Mimamsa philosophy. He starts speaking to his father that karma is the greatest, karma is most powerful. Their acharyas, right? Don't take it seriously. Krishna is just lying. So this is Shastra. That's why one needs Guru, right? To understand all this. It's amazing. Okay. Then he continues, he gives an example how faulty sections of the Shastra, if we quote, and we quote these faulty sections and we try to prove it, it is not going to help us. It's not going to purify us. He gives this example. Yata pankena pankamba itivat. Pankena means mud. By mud, pankamba, muddy water. You're trying to purify muddy water using mud. Right? You're trying to purify muddy water using mud. You will not get purified water. So faulty, these statements of the Puranas do not purify the conditioned souls. The statements are already faulty and we are also faulty. How will he purify us? Right? So this is a nyaya that is given in Shastra, trying to purify muddy water with mud. It doesn't work. So therefore we can appreciate that although the Shastras were there for thousands of years, up to the point of Shuddha Bhaktas like Srila Prabhupada and our entire parampara, they came and when they spoke the right conclusions of Bhagavad Gita, the right conclusions of all the Veda Shastras, then only did actually people started to become purified and great Vaishnavas. They start becoming great devotees. Okay. So in one sense also we can appreciate that in today's Kali Yuga age, it is in one sense a good thing that not all the Vedas are accessible. Because can you only imagine the amount, already there's confusion, already there's nothing authorized. But can you imagine if all the branches of the Vedas are still available, right? No one will become a devotee. Everyone will be lost in some Mimamsa, lost in some Nyaya, lost in some Vaisheshika. It's good that everything got cut off. And Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, this is remaining. So that people can focus on the essence and quickly get perfection of life. So we can only be so grateful to the bona fide Sampradaya. Having said all this about the different devatas, the different different great personalities, Sometimes a person may also again argue. They say that you are saying like this about the devatas, you should not do their puja. There's no need actually to do their puja. And, you should only accept the sections of the Vedas which are in line with the Vaishnava agamas. If they are against, then don't go for it. But here's a question for you, Vaishnavas. Do you know that your Krishna and Balaram, they also learned from a Shaiva Bhakta? Krishna and Balaram also studied from a Shaivite. Who is that? Sandipani Muni. So in Ujjain, what was known as that at those days as Avanti Desh, today is known as Ujjain in Madhya Pradesh. Even today, there's a beautiful, very famous Lord Shiva temple, Mahakal temple, right? And this is the headquarters of our Sandipani Muni. And Sandipani Muni was a Shaivite. So why did Krishna and Balaram come and study from him then? Left Vrindavan and come to study here in 64 days. So our Acharya Srila Vishnu Chakra Thakur, in his commentary in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sarartha Darshini, he mentions that why did they accept a Shaivite guru? Although who is Sandipani Muni's mother? Sandipani Muni is the son of Paurnamasi, who's Yoga Maya in Vrindavan, Paurnamasi, who arranges everything. And Sandipani Muni's children are also the associates of Lord Krishna, Madhumangal and Nandimukhi. Right? If you have read Rupa Goswami's book, Vidatta Madhav and Lalita Madhav, Nandimukhi comes there. So many different pastimes also. But Madhumangal, everyone knows. So Madhumangal's father is Sandipani Muni, who's a Shaivite. But his grandmother is Paurnamasi, who's a great devotee, Yoga Maya herself. So Vishnu Chakra Thakur explains that they had to accept him. Why? If they had accepted a Vaishnava guru, immediately he would have recognized them to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna's learning pastimes will not happen. His Vidya Arambana, or his Krida, his games and whatever he had studied and whatever he had learned will not begin. Because the Guru is a devotee, he will not want to teach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, intentionally, they went all the way to find a great devotee of Lord Shiva, Sandipani Muni, right? And to learn from him. So we can see that even there are narrations in the Shastra, but we require the understandings of the Shuddha and the Paramahamsa Acharyas to actually give us the understanding. Okay, why they did this kind of worship. So let us see then what is real Devata worship. What is real worship of the Devas. So this worship of the Devas is worship. Puja means respect. Right? So like we said, if we want to worship the Devata, someone says, no Prabhu, my whole life I've been worshipping Ganapati and Shiva, and now Radha Krishna has come between, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. What to do with Ganapati and Shiva? What to do with all the other deities? You turn them towards Krishna, they'll be very happy. Right? If you have an altar and already you had a Ganesha Murti, Ganapati Murti, and then now you put your Radha Krishna because now you became Hare Krishna, right? So you turn your Ganapati Murti slightly, that he's also taking darshan of Radha Krishna. He'll be very happy, right? He'll be very happy. So we are not against the demigod worship if the person's understanding is respect. But if a person is thinking that, oh, this Devata can give me something that Krishna cannot give me, this Devata is going to give me something special, which, what is this? That Krishna cannot give me. So that is wrong, right? Just 1 second. Okay. So that worship is wrong. That if one thinks that Krishna or the Devatas are a separate controllers. So giving respect is not difficult. And how do we give respect? The same way. We see in our culture, if you welcome someone also, what they do, you give them a garland, you do an aarti, you put them decoration. So therefore, if you see about it, this is not worship in a sense. This puja can mean respect also. It doesn't mean that we are accepting them as demigods or devatas or supreme personality, but this is just respect. So we can respect the devatas. We go to a temple and they're offering puja, and our understanding, we know they are great devotees, right? So this is the right mood of worshipping. Let us see another pastime. Since we are speaking about all these acharyas, let us see one of our acharyas, the sixth Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami, who was staying near the Madan Mohan temple in his Bhajan Kutir behind. At a very advanced age, even in Vrindavan, he would always go to see the darshan of Gopeshwar Mahadev every day. Gopeshwar Mahadev is the original, eternal, pure form of Shambhu. Okay, and he would always go to, if you have been to Vrindavan, you know, Gopeshwar Mahadev is one corner of Vrindavan, old Vrindavan, and Madan Mohan is near Yamuna. So far he would walk every time and take darshan. And one day, Gopeshwar Mahadev came to him and said, please don't come and see me anymore. And Sanatana Goswami said, why? You're so Lord Shiva says, you're so old. Why are you taking so much trouble? But then Sanatana Goswami, no. It is my habit now. I must come and take your darshan. What is this you're saying? So Lord Shiva became so touched. And he says that, no, please, this is so far away. Okay. Halfway between where you are and between I am, I will come halfway. I will come halfway and there you can come at least and take my darshan. Don't come all the way. So like this, he manifested a form called Bankandi Mahadev. Right? There's a form in Vrindavan. If you go between Madhu Mohan temple and Gopeshwar Mahadev, there's this temple of Bankandi Mahadev. So Lord Shiva came here and sat here. And at least half distance, Sanatana Goswami would go. And we see how Sanatana Goswami had a very loving relationship. In fact, when Sanatana Goswami wrote his Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is a book advice for Vaishnavas, he writes that all Vaishnavas should observe Shivaratri. He calls it Shiva Chaturdasi because it happens on Chaturdasi. One should observe Shivaratri because Lord Shiva, in whom all good qualities reside, Shiva means good qualities, will be certainly honored, respected by this observance. So it is a respect of the pure Vaishnava. So in many dhams, right, devotees even do offer or observe Shivaratri, but because they have a proper mood. Generally in ISKCON, although we have it on the calendar, it is not something openly spoken because many new people may take it wrongly and their bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti may get diverted, thinking Lord Shiva is a separate Ishvara. That will not please Lord Shiva, they will not please Lord Krishna also. So we don't advocate it unless someone is really matured, staying in the dham, and actually wants blessings and, you know, go forward looking Lord Shiva as a great personality, right? Because this comes to us our last two slides. So we have to remember this, that Lord Shiva does not accept anyone who is a Vaishnava Aparadhi. That is, the followers of Lord Shiva, if they blaspheme the followers of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva will not accept them. So there's a nice verse that comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes, in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhakti hina hoile ye mata buddhi hoy, ninda kera puja Shiva kabu nahi loy. If one is devoid of devotional service, this type of mentality develops. What type of mentality? This kind of mati buddhi, you know, this bad mind. Lord Shiva never accepts the worship of a blasphemer. If someone starts to blaspheme the devotees of the Lord, then he goes another verse which says, Kashiteya paraninde sheshivera dhandya. In Kashi, which is the abode of Lord Shiva, paraninda, if you do offense of other people, say shivera danda, you will get punished by Lord Shiva. Shiva aparadhe Vishnu nahi taravandya. If you offend Lord Shiva, you will never become a Vaishnava. Right? So here it's mentioned that the topmost Vaishnava punishes those who offense against the Vaishnava and makes them bereft of devotion to Vishnu. So those who offend the followers of Lord Krishna or those who offend Lord Shiva himself, they will never take up to Vaishnavism. Right? So we should be very careful. Having said this, now let's see that Lord Krishna also, he does not accept those who are Shaiva Aparadhis, those who are offending Lord Shiva. So here, this verse comes in Adi Varaha Puran. So this is all quoted by Jiva Goswami. Janmantara sahasrena samaradhya vrishatvajam vaishnavatam labdhe dhiman sarva papakshaye sati. One who has worshipped purely Lord Shiva for thousands of births, Janmantara sahasrena. Such an intelligent person then becomes a Vaishnava after destroying all his sins. So one who does even sincere Shiva Bhakti can actually become a devotee. Right? This is the power. Then one more verse which says, Yo mam samartaye nityam ekantam bhavamasvitaha vinindan devam ishanam sayati narakam dhruvam. So Lord says, one who is able to be situated in pure love for me. That means one who has a chance of doing pure devotional service, like all of us, but criticizes Lord Shiva, goes to hell for certain. So this is the way we can actually know and be very careful that, we should never criticize the devatas. We should understand who they are, where they're coming from, and know that ultimately we can only get bhakti by the blessings of all these great personalities. So we know that we only want to please and serve Krishna, and therefore there is no need to worship the devatas separately. But in that, we should not offend them also. So like this, we'd like to end the class here. We'll open up for some questions if anyone has. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Your Grace. Thank you very much for such an enlightening class. Next, we can quickly take one or two questions. Devotees can type out the questions in chat box or unmute yourself. Okay, the first question is, Hare Krishna, Your Grace. The term Yoga Shevam Vahamyaham means the Lord carries what we lack and preserves what we have. If my understanding is correct, this implies that the Lord compensates for our deficiencies, particularly our ignorance in this material world, while safeguarding whatever we already possess. But what exactly do we possess? Is it our limited knowledge about the Lord? Thank you, Your Grace.
Yes, our devotion, our faith, whatever knowledge that we have. So Krishna, as long as we are, very sincere, Krishna maintains this. So that's why when we commit offenses, that means we are not sincere. So we offend a devotee, so then Krishna will remove that also. He'll remove that limited knowledge. Krishna will remove that faith, because we are not sincere actually if we offend others. So if we are very sincere and we try to serve, then whatever limited knowledge or whatever limited faith that we have, that will be maintained, because that is most important. Other things are not so important.
Thank you, Your Grace. We have another question. Can we worship the devatas and ask benediction from them by maintaining the understanding of Krishna is the supreme and others are the servant of the Lord, just like the gopis worship goddess Katyayani as their husband?
Depends on what you're asking for. When you say, can we ask them for benedictions? What are you asking from them? If you're asking for them something material, something selfish, solve this problem, get over this thing, then can't Krishna do that for you? But you gave their example of gopis praying to Katyayani. But what did the gopis ask for? They wanted Krishna as their husband. We see Dhruva Maharaj in Bhagavatam also, when he met Kubera and Kubera asked, what do you want? Ask a benediction for me. And Dhruva said, I want unflinching faith in Krishna's lotus feet. So if you have to ask something from any of the great devatas, then ask that I only want my Krishna bhakti to grow. I want to be a proper devotee of Lord Krishna. Please grant me pure devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. That is the only prayer. So you have to actually know what you're asking for. If you ask for anything else, right, besides this, then that means we are thinking that they can do something that Krishna can't.
Thank you very much, Your Grace. We do not have any more questions. Your Grace, thank you once again from all of us, and we greatly appreciate your association, Your Grace. BJKL would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to His Grace Hemarupa Chaitanya Prabhu for taking His Grace's time out of his busy schedule for us, for investing His Grace's time on us. We look forward to having more association with Your Grace in our future session. Your Grace, we have a few announcements to make. If Your Grace has another engagement, then we would understand, but Your Grace is most welcome to stay. Hare Krishna, Your Grace. Prabhus and Matajis, Hare Krishna. BJKL is now excited to announce our next event, the Bhagavad Gita quiz. Hare Krishna Guna Prabhu, can we have the poster, please? Okay. So this Bhagavad Gita quiz, it is an online-based intra-academic competition. This competition is between all the members of BJKL and as well as Academy for Hindu Sciences and Understanding. So how does this competition work? So all the questions that we are going to give in this Bhagavad Gita online quiz will be multiple choice question, all objective question. And the best part is that we are providing 500 questions with answers in advance. Sorry, which means the participants will be required to study all these 500 questions and as well as the answers. And on the competition day, 40 questions will be randomly selected from this 500 questions pool, and participants will be given 1 hour to answer them. So the fastest will be the winners. And this is to make sure that everybody have the fair chance to participate. So who can participate? Anyone and everyone. As long as you are living in Prabhus and Matajis are living in Malaysia and Singapore. So these are those who can participate. Who cannot participate? Of course, the organizers and any other individuals who are residing outside Malaysia and outside Singapore. They are not eligible to participate. So this competition will take place on 27th of July, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we will update the leaderboard in real time every 20 minutes and will conclude sharp at 5 p.m. and the winner will be announced on the same day. So the grand prize will be RM 5,000 for the first place, 3,000 for the second place, 1,000 for the third place, along with 10 consolation prizes of RM 500 each. And for all those devotees or all those participants who are attending this, who have registered for this online competition, e-certificates will be awarded. So Prabhus and Matajis, please register now by contacting us via WhatsApp. The entry fee is only RM10. Please don't forget to join and win amazing prizes. For more information, Prabhus and Matajis can contact either Subha Mataji, myself, as well as Sumati Mataji. With that, we have come to the end of the session for today. Hare Krishna, Prabhus and Matajis. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next Wednesday. All glories to their Lordship Sri Lakshmi Narayana. All glories to Sri Radhamadhavasta Sakis. All glories to Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. All glories to Sri Sri Gauranitai. All glories to Sampradaya Acharyas. All glories to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, Prabhus and Matajis. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.